Orbits is one of those empty words. In the sky only, the zodiacal sketch, and the beyond form just after the half moons. There was no time for a whole new story, and I was running to get your eyes at the end of school.
At the age of 5, my son, Nicola, was in the habit of making books, gluing sheets of paper together and giving them a title. And one of them was entitled The Book of Liquids. I took the book and I left it through. And for each page there was a liquid. For each page there was a dripping of color. And for each page there was the wrong word to name it. And beside this, the pages were engraved by prehistoric drawings. And it struck me because it sparked a kind of short circuit that brought out a latent and dormant childhood memory. When I was a 10-year-old girl, my uncle, my father's younger brother, wanted to take me hunting with him. He was completely crazy because of severe disease and also because of cruel treatments, and for a mysterious reason he has been my childhood playmate. And I followed him. I took the gun, a gun heavier than me, and I followed him in the flooded countryside, and we killed, and I killed. Well, this hunting scene is my big sin, is the big sin of my life. And it remained in my deepest subconscious till the Book of Liquids, with its front words, with its prehistoric drawings, which reminded me the hunting scenes of the prehistoric cave of Altamira in Spain. The Book of Liquid has revived this childhood memory and has awoken it.
Pity for the innocent, terror for those who resemble us. Aristotle, Poetics, innocent, terror, us, innocent, terror, us.
And so if you ask me what is the Book of Liquid about, I can say that the Book of Liquid is a long sequence of hunting scenes between man and animals, between man and man, between evil and good, between mothers and daughters, between, why not, lovers? Because isn't love a long sequence of hunting scenes with lovers trying to seek their trophy? Huh? But, and this is what I try to say in the erotic section of the Book of Liquid, which is called Praxis. But there's a huge but, because poetry cannot be only the photograph of the real thing. It must be something else. Poetry and Book of Liquid try to be a kind of device that aims to subvert, also to undermine the established order, that natural compulsion to violence, to abuses, to prevarication. With the words of Francis Bacon, the brutality of fact.
Exhausted and blooded, they return to the cave incised deer, buffaloes and mammals, incised deer, and above the eye of the mammal, looking at the arrow in its side. Exhausted and blooded, they returned to the cave incised deer, buffaloes and the cave incised deer, buffaloes looking at the arrow in its side. Ma soprattutto l'occhio del cinghiale che guarda la freccia al suo fianco. If when love burns, the rest smokes, why can't I go beyond your bed?
The Book of Liquids, starting from a childhood memory, from a private memory, puts at the scene a collective memory, a collective archetype, the archetype of the kill and eat, the pattern of hunting, prey, and predator, and try to undermine it from within, from the inside. How? From the beginning to the end of the Book of Liquids is crossed by a kind of mantra. This mantra says, exhausted and blooded, they return to the cave inside the deer, buffaloes, and mammoths, and above all the outdoor, looking at the arrow in its side. And this mantra is repeated several times, and each time it loses a piece until it becomes only a focus on the eye of the boar looking at the arrow in its side. And well, this mantra, imagine the prehistoric hunter who first broke that pattern of killing and eat by looking at his prey no longer as his meal, as something to eat, but as his victim, as the innocent victim. And the victim that, as such, is unforgettable and memorable. This hunter, 16,000 years ago, broke that pattern so as to transform a prehistoric and bloody and anonymous cave in the so-called Sistine Chapel of the Paleolithic. And it's really touching, and I think I consider this the date of birth of the art, which consists in turning the horror, the massacre, into wonder. And the poetry and art in general, as well as children, are those who mediate between the here and the beyond, the fact and the possibility, and the cave and the chapel. And this is the reason why I really can't stand people who say that poetry and poets are detached from the real life, from the real thing. Uh, on the contrary, I think that poetry is so immersed into the brutality of fact, and it faces in such a clear way the art of darkness of reality that poetry, along with politics, along with religion, is what is entrusted by community, by the polis, to find a way out and to turn the unwatchable in something watchable, in order to make the living livable and breathable. And in other words, and this time with the words of the poet Eliot, humankind cannot bear too much reality. And this is so true. Can we bear Ukraine? Can we bear the kibbutz of Kfar Aza? Can we bear massacre of Hamas? Can we bear the genocide in the Strip of Gaza? No, we can't. We can't. We need to, after having looked the horror in its eyes, we need to imagine another landscape. This is the meaning behind my work, whatever I do, whatever I write, wherever I go.
The Book of Liquids is a project in which we decided to work with both music and poetry. We decided to work musically on many levels. The first is the level of sounds, the texture of each sound that is represented was kind of selected with the idea of mimicking the soundscapes of dreams and memories. In this kind of settings, sounds tend to be very random and at the same time full of meaning. And sounds in dreams and memories have these qualities, two qualities, both of them at the same time. This is the method that we try to use while looking for the right sounds. For an example, one of the sounds that is most used is the sound of keys, and everybody connects that sound with something different: happiness, security, or maybe not for everybody, but it's a safe space.
Rinaldo shot himself in the mouth. My father heard the shot and ran first. I was giving birth to my daughter. It was the lung in her throat, wasn't it? Inside held entire bull, red planetary eye, old form, hoofs and stud, tons and tons of skull.
La
second level has been about the vocal melodies that I sing throughout the play, and we kind of wanted to have vocal melodies that were continuing the emotional moods that were already in the poetry. It is a game between saying things and singing things, and the target is always the same. We just needed more ways of saying it, and sometimes you just need to sing and that's why also we wanted to work on vocal melodies that were unpredictable in their shape, because that kind of represents how human people feel. It is not rational. And also the fact that I most of all do not use words. It's also a choice in the sense that we worked with words and maybe even the absence of words while singing, but hopefully you can still perceive unity between these moments, the spoken word and the absence of words. Finally, we have a third element in the music, which has been about harmony and structures. They are very useful as tools in order to communicate different emotional moods. For an example, we used odd meters and modal harmonies in order to convey the emotional mood of the texts the poetries that were about human beings looking inside themselves, looking inside their memory, inside their past. The emotion that you feel while you are uniting with yourself, while you are reflecting about your own life. And at the same time, when we were working on texts that regarded the relationship between human beings, the communication, the dialogue, we tended to use 4/4 beats and structures, and we tended to use functional harmony. For an example, one moment of the play is based on Insensatez, which is a Jobim tune. So very traditional functional harmony, jazz harmony. This kind of juxtaposition has the purpose to make people see and perceive the difference between a human person looking inside themselves and human people connecting between each other.
Mary absence.
The last section of the Book of Liquids is set in Palestine, because the Palestine, Israel, the West Bank has been one of the most important experience of my life, where I met two women, and this is the end of the Book of Liquids. I met two women who made me believe that the sequence of the hunting scenes could be halted, and that the bleeding of the Book of Liquids could be coagulated.
Can I ask who these women were?
Yes, one of them was a woman. We were in Jerusalem. We were at the wall of weeping, and she made me such a smile. That smile was such a strong fire that dried any weeping. And the other one was in the Dead Sea. She was a woman who was frightened by the Dead Sea. She didn't want to get into the water.
Looking at the air, looking at the side, and above all the air, looking at the air, looking at the air, inside. In front of a Palestinian battery in the West Bank capital, Nablus. Kill and eat.
While I was going into the water, she asked me to be accompanied because she was frightened, and so I took her in the hands and I said, yes, of course, come with me. And after that I asked, what's your name? And she answered, my name is Mary Absence. Mary Absence, talking about absence in the Dead Sea, which is the place of the absence in the word. But at the same time, her name was Mary, like the mother of Jesus. So the image of the pregnancy. So the pregnancy, the absence, the Dead Sea made me think that inside the dead, there can be a kind of pregnancy. It's one of my short secrets.